This is an artist called Devon Fay, and he's an environment artist, and he does a lot of concept work. So Devon's worked at Blizzard, on projects like Call of Duty, Diablo, and some pretty huge AAA games, right? And this is the process that he does, and we're going to follow a similar process. So the first stage is blocking in, and it's just where you use primitive shapes to work out where the camera is, how big the objects are, and what the layout is. So it's meant to be really quick and it's meant to be very iterative. So you explore a whole range of options. So even though you've done a thumbnail sketch, you might start to expand on where those things are and so forth. So once he's gone through a big iterative stage, big looking at multiple angles, multiple versions, and all that sort of stuff, it's worked out. Okay, this is the sorry, this is the block in. This is where I want the main camera to be. And he's used a human to work out the scale as well, which is kind of really nice way of doing it because then you don't have to measure heights for tables and chairs and hallways. So the next stage is, adding the detail, which was kind of like what we've been doing today with the smoothing of the mesh or subdividing of the mesh, edge loops and whatnot. They're not necessarily the same objects. The objects in the block-in can be placeholders, and you can just bring in new objects and put them in the same space. And then, texturing and lighting, gets your finished result. This is a great environment. I love the mixing of the themes. So, we've got, space theme and we've got the 80s retro theme as well. Anyone recognize the carpet? The Shining. Yes, well done, Matthew. There's a Nintendo there. There's Mario. There's looks like DOS on the computers, but the beauty is the lived-in feel of this, right? There's magazines, there's cards on the ground, there's cans. There's a lot of repetition of the similar objects, and it's amazing how just a cube, nice rectangle with a good texture, can create this sort of real lived-in feel to the scene. There's like dirt where there should be dirt. There's lots of great stuff going on. There's even like some broken cabinetry out there. Lots of nice little details. So when you're designing your environment, you need to start thinking about how the objects can help to tell the story that you're trying to tell, like the communication goals. Not happy, Bob. Yep. So what does this office tell us about the boss? OCD? Yep. Yep. So everything's very ordered, isn't it? It's very controlled, very ordered. Pencils are ordered. Scale? Yeah, what about the scale, Cameron? Yeah, so this is really interesting, right? The scale of the boss. The boss is actually tiny. But what's happening in this frame? He's dominating the frame. Bob is like isolated at the bottom of the frame. He's in the center. The desk is like a giant arrow pointing at his head. It's really um, everything's really quite angled and quite mean. So even his eyebrows are angled, his teeth and face is angled, his ears, his suit, his graph on the wall. They're all got this mean sort of angled. It's not neat, perfect. Even though it could look like a Japanese minimalist sort of Zen um, space, but because of the angles, it helps to create this sense of it is quite mean and nasty. All right, so inside the home office, the home, it's very different, right? The home office, yeah, exactly. Um, which is kind of interesting. One thing I like, someone pointed out that the table looks like a wrestling ring or a fighting area or a stage, and this is a big part of the story. Is like they're always having arguments at the table and so forth. So that it was really good, but it's a warm, inviting space. It's nice, bright colors. It's open. It's sort of got a modernist feel. So open plan, um, uh, airy light, lots of natural light, but these are all night scenes. And I think that adds to the drama of the table. All right. So yeah, try and think about how you can add objects and how you can add shape language to communicate your design themes. Um, and yeah, again, the office space, his space is very overburdened, and he's not very well treated. Is he? He's got the pillar inside there. He's all very cramped. It's really unorganized. It's unloved, or it's just overwhelming. He's just overwhelmed by his work.